Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Kirsten Graham, a business strategist dedicated to helping service-based entrepreneurs scale their businesses using video marketing, podcasting, and automation. With a focus on leveraging AI, outsourcing, and content repurposing, Kirsten empowers business owners to achieve financial freedom without sacrificing their time or personal lives. How are you doing today, Kirsten?
I'm great. How are you, Anthony?
I'm doing pretty good. We were just talking. It's supposed to be super warm today. So, the windows are going to be open when we're not recording. Otherwise, the neighbors are going to be yelling and all that kind of stuff. But until then, so awesome. Yeah, I was reading a bit about you. You're doing a lot of awesome things.
Thank you.
So it's kind of, kind of interesting. You have an interesting story. You're doing some stuff that, is becoming way more prominent now. But before we get into all that, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
I'm in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay, yeah, no, so
I'm a little sunburned from going to a polo match yesterday.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. So what's Florida like today? Because I know we're coming into spring. So I visited, but it's always been like in the middle of summer when it's the hottest. What is like spring in your part of Florida?
So for the most part, it's cool in the evenings and 70s in the daytime. But if you're in the sun, it's still very intense sun. So it's great to go to the beach or the pool. Yeah, most of the condos and HOAs keep the pool around 85, so you can definitely swim year round. But yeah, there's lots of beautiful plants that start to come alive, and Florida always has great color. So that's one of the things I enjoy. Even though the seasons, it's not like changing with fall where you have the beautiful leaves falling. We still have definitely differences in the different plants that are available, and so it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you been there for a while, or are you newer to the area?
I'm in my 11th year.
11th year. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so you have your haunts. If you have some friends coming into town, what are you going to go do, and where are you going to go for dinner?
Oh, definitely. Let's see. I love taking them to kayak the mangrove tunnels because I think that's so interesting. And there's so many different ecosystems within the mangrove tunnels. And then I would say for dinner, let me think here. There's so many. I'm going to meet a friend at Waltz because it's stone crab season right now. Are you familiar with that? Stone crabs?
I am not.
So it's actually a crab. And what they do is when they're in season, they don't kill the crab. They just take the claw off of the male crab, just one. So it grows back. So I love that concept, and they're delicious.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's interesting. More sustainable than killing it, I imagine, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can't do that with cattle here.
No.
That'd be nice. You can just go grab yourself a T-bone and it'll grow back. No.
That's lab meat. We don't want that.
No, I like the real thing. So,
Me too.
awesome. Yeah, that sounds great. So what can you tell us about what you do?
Well, so basically I have an awesome business partner, and her background is marketing. And I was actually her coach and mentor when she started building her agency about 17 years ago. And one of the things that I helped her do was to start outsourcing overseas. So we started outsourcing really early on. She got busy really quickly. And I said, I've read about outsourcing overseas. Would you want to try that? And she said, well, if you'll help me, okay. And let me tell you, it was some windy roads and some really big learning curves. But ultimately, we were able to build her agency with a remote team. And that was pretty powerful. And then at the same time, I owned a mortgage company. So even though I mentored other business owners, I was still in the mortgage business. And she encouraged me to start using YouTube video content. And I started that at the end of 2006, early 2007. And that was when my mind was blown over the power of video marketing. It was so crazy to me. And Anthony, I don't know if you've had this happen yet, but you're walking down the street and someone's like, oh, Anthony, like they know you because they watch so much of your content. I would have people come into my office and to drop off documents, and they were so familiar with me. I was feeling awkward, like trying to figure out, where did I know them? Where did I meet them? That kind of thing. And the reality is I hadn't met them. They had just watched enough of our content that they knew not only myself, but also all of our processors and the team. And so that was when that light bulb went off, I guess. So eventually Jeannie and I decided to partner together because marketing has changed. It's really hard for a business to have an agency create all of their content because for most of us, we need to show up. We need to show up in video. Our posts need to talk about things that we know that we're experts in that we can talk about. And so we decided to really partner and help business owners bring their voice, bring their expertise, and bring their authority to the table by having a virtual assistant take care of everything in the background. So I always say her specialty is really marketing and my specialty is really business management, leadership, and hiring and, building that team.
Yeah, I like that. I like that concept a lot because you're able to both cater to your strengths, right?
Yes,
It's a
absolutely.
multiplicative effort. I heard it said, and I mentioned this a while ago now. But if you're a 7 out of 10 at whatever you're doing, and you partner
Mhm.
with a 7 out of 10, makes you a 20 out of 20 because you're both strong in different areas. So
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing.
Thank
What
you.
is it that you love most about what you're doing?
Oh my gosh. So in business, we all know that it needs to be win-win. When the business owner needs to win, the client or the customer needs to win. That's when the magic happens, is when everyone walks away really happy. For us, it's a little bit different because we actually hire and train virtual assistants for our clients. Now it has to be a win-win-win. We want, our clients to be really happy. We want the virtual assistants to be really happy. And of course, as business owners, we want to be happy. We all want to win. So I absolutely love the fact that we get to pair virtual assistants with great business owners who understand the cultural differences, who end up becoming great leaders and great managers. And we're really helping to facilitate long-term relationships. We have clients going on almost 5 years now with the same virtual assistant. And so that's a little different. And I guess I should say this here. We are not a marketing agency and we're not an outsourcing agency. So we actually coach our clients on their marketing strategy and we teach them how to manage a virtual assistant using our SOPs, our standard operating procedures. And then we pair them with a virtual assistant. Once that virtual assistant comes out of our paid internship, they go to work directly for the client. So we are not marking up their labor. So we're not acting as an outsourcing agency. And the reason we chose that model, I'm quite sure we leave a lot of money on the table, but we chose that model because we really want to empower business owners to start building a team, to start going from being that solopreneur who, as a solopreneur, you might hire someone to do your bookkeeping or you might hire someone to build your website. But for the most part, it's just you. And we wanted them to go from being a solopreneur to actually building a team. And it changes everything for them.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I imagine so. You say leaving money on the table, but you're also adding way more value. So it's kind of that win-win when you're going for you guys. Incorporating all that. That's amazing.
Thank
Um,
you.
what does your average client look like? If you had to take the pain points that somebody might be going through, that if they're dealing with X, Y, or Z, you're the person that they should be talking to.
Yeah, so we work with a lot of real estate agents. For real estate agents, YouTube is just an incredible way to generate leads on autopilot. You create that weekly video, your virtual assistant takes care of editing it, doing all the SEO, uploading it, creating a couple different thumbnails, A/B testing those. So that allows real estate agents to really start to bring in leads, which I think is so important. And then for other businesses, we do work with a lot of coaches and consultants who want to start either a regular YouTube channel or a podcast, and we talk about strategy. So it really just depends on the industry, but we really have a passion for real estate agents because that's my background. And we also have a passion to help coaches. And I feel like podcasting is such an incredible way. I don't know about you, Anthony, but Jeannie and we've had people that have come on our show and they've become clients of ours. We've had people that have come on our show. We're like, oh, we love what you're doing. And actually we need that. We were just talking about that. So we've started working with them. So I feel like it's a great way for a lot of us to meet each other and find out if we have, if we could use each other's services, but more importantly, we refer a lot of people out. So when we're hosting guests and we keep a track of what people do. So if one of our clients needs a resource, we often have that because of our podcast. So, and I also feel like podcasts are just a great way to have content for all of your platforms because it's so easy to repurpose it. So it really just depends on that particular person, what their strategy would look like.
No, that's absolutely correct. You said it perfectly, right? That's what this whole thing's about, is making introductions and helping people get to know one another.
Mhm.
Because yeah, you can spend a bunch of time having a bunch of one-on-ones. You can talk to, let's say, 5 people a day, and spend that out every year. How many people are you going to reach? But if you could talk to 100 people at a time, and you do it a couple
Right.
times a month, how many people are you going to reach in a year? It's exponential. And then, like you
Yes.
said, being able to repurpose, you're going to further that reach. I think
Mhm.
when I first started this, because this is new, from whenever this is published from now when we're recording, it's a little over 5 months old. And I started listening to somebody like Gary Vee. He goes, the only reason that I do the long form is so that I can get all the short form out of it, because you're able to
Yes.
repurpose, like you said, because, you have a 30-minute conversation with somebody, there's 10, 15 clips in there. There's blog posts that can spin
Mhm.
out of it. There's all this stuff. So
Yes.
you can
Yes.
have a lot of content. So no, that's amazing. And, it's touching on repurposing. How big of an impact has that made on your business?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's so amazing. And we hear this from a lot of our clients. Once they start creating their one piece of weekly content, whether get a podcast or YouTube, whatever style content, they start repurposing it in their virtual assistant, scheduling that, getting everything out. It's so fun to hear them say, oh my gosh, somebody just came up to me at a networking event and they said, oh my God, I see you everywhere. How are you doing that? So it really is good, because if you aren't out networking for business, if people are constantly seeing your content come up, then they know that you're running your business, you're getting your marketing done. And that says a lot about you. And I think it keeps you top of mind for so many people. It's also interesting because we actually encourage our clients to send out their recording right after it goes live. And we had some real estate agents recently that sent out their very first YouTube video, and it went out to their email list, and they had someone reach out, and this person was just a kind of a prospect, someone actually, it came off of their sphere of influence. So really someone they'd never really spoke to about real estate, but you come in contact with a lot of people and you add them to your list. And what's funny is that person reached out and said, hey, I don't know if you can do this, but I want to buy some land. And so there is power when we create content and we have different ways to get it out, not only in front of new people and bring leads in, but also to really stay top of mind and to everyone who is on our email list or who follows us.
No, absolutely. It's you get everywhere. You're
Mhm.
you're gonna meet people you would have never otherwise met. So and it's more and more important every passing day. So that's awesome. You said you find a lot of collaboration with it as well. So what does your average power partner look like, or certain professions or certain industries where you find a lot of collaborations working with?
Yeah, so we do a lot of classes for title companies or mortgage companies because we have great trainings for real estate agents on marketing. So a lot of times those are great collaborations. They get to give their people a free class. We get to teach that class in front of real estate agents who, are ideal clients for us. So that's some of that. And then also we work with a lot of authors and speakers. So, talking to people who are publishing books for other people, especially the books that are helping them become the authority in their space. Because I always like to say, if I were going to write a book, I would go on every podcast I could talking about the fact that I'm writing a book. And then when it gets to the publisher, I'd be on every podcast I could talking about, is that the publisher? And then when it went live, I'd be out there talking about it. So helping people to understand that, it's not just about doing the thing. It's not about creating the course. It's not about writing the book. It's not about, designing the program and having it all set up in the portal. It's about marketing it. It's about getting out there and getting in front of the right people, and also just showcasing that you are the authority, you are the expert in your space, and that you can truly help them if what you do is what they really need.
Absolutely. What advice would you give a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
Mm. Don't do it all yourself. And we're really lucky. We tend to work with the people who are starting businesses that we get to work with. A lot of them are not tech savvy. So they're more like me and less like my business partner, Jeannie. So when they start thinking about building a business, they need help with automation. They need help with editing videos. They don't want to sit and post stuff on social media. So it's awesome when you can take someone who is new to business and actually help them get up and running right away with a team member. So if they can afford that, I think it's a great investment, not just in, your business and getting things done to generate leads, but also it really starts their mindset off immediately as the CEO of their business rather than just the worker bee of the business.
Yeah, that's been a reoccurring thing lately, and I love when that happens because there's just so much truth to it. You hear it
Mhm.
a million different ways from a bunch of different people, but they're all saying the same thing. If you want to go fast, you go alone. You can get started tomorrow. But if you want to go
Yes.
far, you go with the team, right? Because
Yes,
you're
absolutely.
work in your business or on your business, you get a pick. So, did you buy yourself a job, or you have a business that you're actually going to work on? So, absolutely, I love that.
Yeah.
Um, how can entrepreneurs use video marketing and podcasting to generate more leads?
Well, it's exposure, right? It's creating great content. So in this conversation that you and I are having, whoever's listening to it, they're getting to know both of us, right? They're getting to know you, the host, and they're getting to know me, the guest. And it allows people who may never run across us, get to know us, because you're going to you're going to promote this podcast and I'm going to promote it, which means I'm putting you in front of our audience and vice versa. So I feel like podcasting and having guests is a great way to extend your reach really quickly by marketing with the host. So that would be one thing. I think people forget when it comes to video marketing, especially YouTube. YouTube is a search engine. It's the second largest search engine, and it's owned by Google. So Google owns YouTube, and search engines have one goal and one goal only. They want to answer the question that you have typed into that search bar to the best of their ability. They want to put the right information in front of you. And then if they do that, then you're going to stay on that content, and they are able to run ads and make money. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Google now, when you put something in the search bar, instead of pulling up an article or a blog post, it'll often pull up a YouTube video. And the reason for that is Google knows for a fact that we'll spend more time on a video than we will reading something. And since it owns both platforms, it's in their best interest to send someone to a video and make more ad revenue.
Absolutely. No, it's like you started with OPA, other people's audiences. You're going to get in front of them. It's going to help you. It's going to help them, because you both get to leverage each other's audiences. So that's amazing. And then to YouTube University, you can find anything there. If you're wanting to fix something broken around the house, there's all the DIYs. If you're trying to start a business and you kind of want to test the waters on, do I even think this industry is interesting? We could watch however much, more than you could ever in the history of the world watch. So there's so much out there, and you're absolutely right. You want to be a part of that. How can outsourcing and automation help business owners scale without burnout?
Yeah, like you said, you either work on your business or you work in your business. So let's talk about automation first. Automation is fantastic. So for example, when I first had my podcast, I might talk to you, Anthony. We'd have a great conversation. I would invite you on my podcast. We'd pick a date and a time, and then I would send you a form so that you could give me the information, like your bio and your headshot and all of that. And then inevitably I would have to chase you, or my team would have to chase you, because, the interview is happening later today and we still don't have those things. So one of the things that I love about our software, the automations that we use, is I now have a funnel. So if someone wants to sign up to be on my podcast, it goes to a link, they pick a date, but before they can confirm that date and time, they have to upload their headshot. They have to give me their bio. And then what happens is that automatically starts to send out text reminders and email reminders so that they actually show up for the interview. We have a very, very, very small no-show rate for our podcast interviews. And it also, I think it makes us look like rock stars. We're so on top of it. So automation is something that it takes your time and it lets you do more valuable things because the automation is running in the background. And there are so many different types of automations that you can use. But that was just an example. What was the other part of the question? I'm sorry.
Outsourcing.
Yeah. So outsourcing. Yeah. So I think people have a hard time thinking I have to do it all myself, or no one can do it the way I do it. And usually what we talk a lot about is becoming the coach. Coach your team members on creating content the way you want it to look, or whatever task you're having them do. Make sure you spend time having a great onboarding process, make sure you have great SOPs, standard operating procedures, and you invest time in that person, because I can promise you they can do it as well as you do it if you get them set up properly. And again, I love the saying, if you do something more than 3 times that has more than 3 steps, you need to document it so you can delegate it. So every day we're doing things that we don't have to do. If I'm in a networking event, I quickly and I meet someone, I just take a picture of their card and I send it to my team and let them know what I want them to do. Hey, invite this person to be on our podcast, or this person wants to set up a call with me to talk about our program. And then before I even leave that meeting, that person already has the invite in their inbox, and that person's already been added to our software. So it just allows you to be so much more efficient. And I think a lot of times, I can't speak for everyone, I can speak for myself. I know that if I have a running to-do list in my head of all these things that I'm not getting done and I'm beating myself up about it, it's just draining my energy. So by outsourcing and by getting support for your business, it really does free up not just your time, but also I think your mental space and your emotional energy.
You only have so much of either, right?
Right,
You
exactly.
have to delegate. That's absolutely correct. And to your point, when I just a little bit behind the scenes here, when I first reached out to you, I didn't have any of that automated. I do
Mhm.
now. When somebody schedules a thing, it goes to the jot form. They don't get the calendar link until I get the headshot and stuff. So it's been a
Good.
learning curve because
Yeah.
I started off, hey, you know what? I have a Zoom link and a camera. We're gonna figure it out. And then I guest on other people's shows, and I go, huh? I've been doing this the dumbest way possible. Let me steal all of these ideas and make it easier on myself, and it has been. So,
That's
absolutely, don't be
awesome.
afraid to get started, but know that you want to get to automate it as quick as possible.
Yes, yes.
So absolutely, and with the way everything's going, do you think AI will replace virtual assistants?
Maybe for a few tasks, but what we like to focus on is how can AI make your virtual assistant more efficient? Because even if it's an AI tool, you have to spend time learning that tool and then you have to spend time doing all of those things. We all know that like ChatGPT is fantastic, but you have to figure out how to prompt it. You have to make sure it has enough backstory and enough information. And then once Chat has written whatever it's written for you, then you have to massage it. You have to add the stories. You have to make it more unique. So what we like to think about is how can we build our team with automations? And so we train our virtual assistants on several different AI tools that can help the clients they're going to work for. And then we're always updating that as new things come about. And in fact, a lot of our clients will ask their virtual assistant on a slow week, hey, why don't you go out there and see what other AI tools are out there that maybe we could use? And let's talk about it next week in our Monday meeting. So I think your virtual assistant will be able to be way more productive with AI. And for some people, there are some tasks it could replace them, but it'll free them up to do more high level tasks for you, which I think is even better.
No, absolutely. It's going to do exactly for them what just hiring them in the first place did for you. And it's just going to be that
Yes.
hierarchy of
Yes.
responsibility will be even more narrow. So you can focus more of your time and they can focus more of their time, and all those dollars are more efficient. So absolutely. No, I agree. Um, so why you? There's a menu of options out there. You guys are doing awesome things, but what sets you apart from everybody else?
I think what really helps us is that, I've been in business my entire life. So I have a lot of history in lots of different businesses. I've owned a mortgage company, a title company, I've owned a gym, lots of different things. And my business partner has owned a marketing agency. So we really come together. It's not, like you said, it's not just me with a great background in marketing, but then also in business management and outsourcing and team management. So between the two of us, we really are able to help our clients figure out their marketing strategy, how to get comfortable and confident on camera, what technology you need. But then we also have the ability to give them all of our standard operating procedures, all of the things that they need to have a virtual assistant take care of everything else. And our virtual assistants are very well trained. So we always say it's a proven system, it's a proven process. And I think that is something that's very different in the work environment right now. And like I said, we're not an agency, so we're not marking up the labor. And I'll give you a good example. There is another person who I just ran across who actually does video editing and marketing for real estate agents. He basically has a team in the Philippines that does all of the work. It's $14.95 a month to have that done. And I think it's a great deal. Real estate's a high ticket item. If you're selling an extra house a month, that's perfect. Where the comparison would be our virtual assistants are working directly for the client for around $250 a month. So there's a way to save a lot of money, but more importantly, to build a relationship with that person. So rather than going through an agency, you're actually just working with an individual who can eventually grow and learn to do different things for your business. Maybe they become the manager and they manage the next two VAs that you hire. So that's why us, I guess we're a little bit different. We're very different, a different
No,
duck.
I love that. Absolutely. That definitely sets you apart. And I know with all this, we could go down all the rabbit holes. We could spend hours
Sure.
and hours because you guys do so much. But is there anything just in general that I missed or that I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
No, but I'd love to know, how did you come up with the name I Know a Guy? I've been thinking about that the whole time.
Happy accident. It started as a way of making just good introductions. Where if I had a recording of you and somebody goes, I could use help in this area, or I partner with people in this area, I can say, have you met Kirsten, and send in the episode, and they would just hear from you. It's clearly turned into more than I thought it would. So it was a happy accident. So yeah, I just kind of had the name from like on Twitter from a while ago, and
I
it
love
kind
it.
of fit perfect. So yeah, one of those serendipitous things. So
It's amazing.
yeah. So for those people that they want to start working on their business and stop working in their business, and they're interested and they need to focus on their superpowers and less on the periphery, how can they find you? Where can they get a hold of you?
Sure. If they're interested in actually outsourcing their marketing, I have a free guide for your audience. It's called Double Your Income with a Marketing Virtual Assistant or a Marketing VA. And you can get that at outsourcingforbosses.com. And then if you'd like to just find us on the website, you can book a call with me if you want to chat about your business. It's sixfigurebusinesscoaching.com. And that's SIX, figurebusinesscoaching.com.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Kirsten, do it, right?
Thank you.
If you're able to spend more time on the money making activities, you're going to go further.
Mm-hmm.
It's exponential, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're spending all your time, working on your books, and you're like a really good plumber, you're spending all your time trying to schedule videos and all that stuff. Why? Go out,
Why?
do more. There's people out there that
Yeah.
can be very well trained to match exactly your needs. And people like Kirsten are doing awesome jobs helping people with that. So feel
Thank
free,
you.
reach out. If anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Kirsten. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. There's that automation part we were talking about. But Kirsten, I really appreciate you taking the time and coming on. I'm going to have everything in the show notes so nobody has to look for it. We'll make it really easy. But I hope we all take this to heart. Let's go have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.
Thank you, Anthony.